I wanted to work on a controller guide. Reason being, if you have been a COD player for the past few years, at least since MW 2019, because really that's when the topic of this conversation started, then you've at least heard or seen posts, be it Reddit, Twitter, aka X, even YouTube, about aim assist, right? Broken aim assist. And in between all that, cheating devices or applications, anything from, people using Chronuses and DS4 Windows, whatever it may be, right? There's so many out there. I don't know them all, but I'm sure you've heard or have been a part of these conversations at some point. Aim assist is a big topic, right? Now, it's no secret that aim assist feels very powerful in a game like Call of Duty. It applies to other games as well, like Apex. The Apex community, they have the same gripe over there, but recently Apex performed an update to their aim assist strength. But, this isn't an Apex video, so I'm not going to get into the details of what Apex did. But for the COD community, aim assist has been the leading topic of conversation. And the conversation usually goes, aim assist is too strong, or people just like to troll and say, well, just get better. With that said, let's get into this guide of it's a beginner's guide. I am not a pro player, disclaimer. I make no guarantees that, oh, my guide is going to turn you, you're going to be iridescent if you play ranked. You're going to have a 5 KD. No, that's going to be up to you, obviously. How high your skill level goes, your skill ceiling is going to be on you, your effort, time in game, and a lot of other factors that go into this kind of game, awareness, rotations, things like that. That's going to be your effort. This is just a basic, hey, I'm a mouse player. I want to get on controller. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know how aim assist works, right? Like, is it always on? Do you turn it on? How does it work? So that's more or less what this guide is. It's a beginner's guide. All right, so with that said, we're going to begin with explaining rotational aim assist, which is your left stick, versus the regular aim assist bubble, which always exists even with the right stick. So there is a difference between the two. We're going to start with some quick examples here. All right, so I also wanted to talk about the actual controller settings, right? Because understanding aim assist is one thing, but then understanding what kind of settings to use, that's really the key to all of this, right? Because if your controller's too fast or too slow, if your thumbstick sensitivities are too fast or too slow, then you're not going to hit your shots either way, right? So in order to maximize your aiming, your centering, and maximize aim assist itself, you need good settings. And this is going to change for everybody. And if you go on YouTube and you look up, best controller settings, 95% of them are going to be exactly the same. They're going to tell you things like, your horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. They're probably going to tell you run like 1.6, which in older CODs, that used to be like 6.6. And they're going to tell you, hey, all the best players use 6.6. And that is true. Most CDL players play in 5.5 or 6.6. Which is now like 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 on this new scale that got implemented with Black Ops 6. But the fact of the matter is that just because the pros use 1.6 doesn't mean you're going to use 1.6, because there's players out there who play on very fast sensitivities. And there's players out there who play on slower sensitivities. Me, I have varied my controller sensitivities a lot. Currently, I'm in a slower sensitivity phase. I've been playing between 1.7, 1.8, and I'm all the way down to 0.80. And you might think, how are you even able to do that? You're not even going to be able to turn. Right. And this is why I say settings come down to personal preference, because for me, I've been testing 0.80 and 0.80 because the way I play, I always focus on my centering. I don't do quick flicks. I don't do quick turnarounds. I'm not 360 spinning. I'm not looking for the flashy gameplay. That's not my play style. So for me, I don't care about moving that quickly. In fact, it hurts my accuracy personally. I don't have the ability to run very high sense. I just don't. And I don't care to learn it because it doesn't get me anything, right? Like I don't care to run high sensitivity. So I'm running 0.80, 0.80. But I'm also adjusting my dead zones. Now, for the left stick max, you see how the red circle gets smaller or bigger here? I run 70 for the left stick max. Now, why? What this does is, since the left stick is the one that we use to control the rotational aim assist, having this set to 70 means that my controller needs less input to reach maximum here on any direction. So when I need to rotate or turn, my left stick doesn't need a lot of input, which means you get to engage your rotational aim assist much faster. Now, I also have my right stick max down to 77. Now, this one's going to get a little controversial because, again, this is all about your personal settings. To begin, I would probably advise against touching the right stick max. Leave it on 100. Because again, this makes your thumbsticks more sensitive. But remember, because this makes my thumbsticks more sensitive and more responsive, this also explains why I'm running a low sense for horizontal and vertical, why I'm running 0.80 and 0.80. Because the combination of this low sense with my adjusted right stick max, it would be almost like if you were running like a 1.5 or 1.6. And you might ask, well, then why don't you just run the 1.5, 1.6? Again, I've tuned these settings specifically for me, for what I find comfortable. And this is something that you're also gonna have to do. Everything is really a guide at the end of the day. And whatever settings you use, you need to go into a lobby and then test and decide either this feels too fast or this feels too slow. And then you adjust from there slowly. Don't adjust by a lot. Adjust slowly. So let's say you put 1.5, 1.5 and you have your dead zone at 100. And then you go and play and you say, oh man, 1.5 feels slow. Don't go up to 2.0. You go up to 1.6. And then you try 1.6. And if 1.6 still feels slow, then you go up to 1.7. Or half increments. You could go to 1.65 and then 1.7. Or vice versa. If 1.5 feels fast, then you go down to 1.4 or 1.3. And you keep going down slowly until you find the right sensitivity. Now, whatever sensitivity you choose, centering is going to be the most important part of all this. And I'm going to go into a match and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you why, even when you play low sense, as long as you're constantly centering, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if you can't turn super fast. It's not going to matter if you can't flick. Because no matter what sense you use, centering is going to be your best friend. So look, I know he's around the corner. I put my dot right on him, okay? Like I know that guy's around the corner. Now watch where my dot is. I'm already centering on the door, expecting him to come in through here. And I'm ready to fire. So that's what I mean by centering. If I'm going to go through this door right here, and I'm going to go out to the right, well, the whole time I'm running to this door, I'm aiming at it. And when I go to the right, I'm already turning this way, see? And I'm looking for that guy right there. Wherever you're running, you always want to center, right? So there's a guy right here. Center on him. Center on him. I'm going to run up these polished doors. I want to center through the center here. I want to look. Center here. As I turn, center here. There's a guy to my left. Center right here. That's what centering is, right? You always want to be ready to engage wherever the person might be. You always want to be ready. He comes this way. I engage this way. Same thing here. He's going to peek here. Like, it wouldn't make sense, right? I'm gonna back up away from here. If I'm gonna go through this door right here, it wouldn't make sense that I'm gonna go through this door and I'm looking at this wall and then turn, right? That wouldn't make sense. That's not centering. You see, but I'm ready for him because I'm already pre-aiming this door right here. There's nowhere else for him to come through. He's not gonna come through the wall up there, or he's not gonna come out the floor right here. He can only come through this door. So I'm gonna center on this door as I turn the corner. I'm always looking at this door like this. I'm always looking at this door ready to fight. See, they're on my right. He's on my right here. Center. I'm always centering. So even when I'm playing slow sense, the speed doesn't affect me. You see? I knew he was coming out that door, so I'm centered on that door. Now I'm centered on these stairs here, and there he is over there. Guy behind me. Center the steps. Get ready to fight. So this is what I mean by centering and how your sense is going to affect your play style. It's going to affect your shooting. Right? And you could do this with fast sense. The logic still applies. You always want to center when you're playing. See, I was ready for that fight because my crosshair is between the opening of this door here. My crosshair is not on this wall. It's not up at the ceiling. Guy behind me is going to turn around, center right here. There he is, right? You know, I look at my mini map. He's right there. I'm going to center around this corner. He's right there. Obviously, he's going to peek me right there. I'm waiting for him. So that's the thing about controller, and mouse and keyboard too. But with controller is when you don't play high sense, you always anticipate where they're going to come from. You know, you have to know the layout of the map. You have to know what you're looking at. If there's a door right there, I'm not going to aim at this closed door because no one's going to come through the closed door. They're going to come through the opening. So as I run through here, I'm watching the opening. If I think, okay, I want to look right first, I'm already centering right. If I'm going to look around these pillars here, I'm keeping my crosshair in the middle. Look, guy behind me. See, I'm pre-aiming here. Peek that corner. I'm centering where I think he's going to be. Look, this guy's going to go around. I'm centering right there. Right there. I'm ready. I'm ready for that fight. So no matter how slow my sense is, as long as I know where I want to look, he's about to cross this corner. Right there. Right there. And that's it. That's what centering is. And that's how that relates to whatever sense you run. Look, there's a guy coming up on my right. Guy behind me. I'm going to reload. I'm going to reload while I'm centered here. Because I know it's going to come on the door. And there it is. Right? You just got to... A lot of it is just always know where to anticipate where they're going to come from. So... if I know they're going to come out through this door, or I know I'm going to run through this door, like you see on the map, he's coming up in front of me. There's an open space right there. I'm going to pre-aim that. Staircase to the right. Guy's coming up behind me. Watch the door. See what I'm saying? You're just always centering. It's not about fast. Guy's coming up right here through the door. There he is. And that's really it. The flashiness and all that, if you want to play that style, go for it. Look, guy coming through the door. If you want to play it like that, that's fine. But I'm all about accuracy and trying not to make too many shots. That's all. You know, guy's coming through this door. There he goes. I'm going to watch the door because he can't come through the wall, right? He's coming through my right. I'm going to watch this door. I'm ready for him. So that's it. So that's centering, and that's how centering affects your sensitivity. Right there. Pre-aim that door. I see him on the map. He's at the top of the stairs. Center on the stairs. Guy's coming up the middle stairs. Center on the stairs here. There it is. That's it. That's the trick with controller. Because I know if you're coming from mouse, you're used to flicking fast. And really, like, this is the limitation on controller. See, it has to, like, ramp up. But I don't have to focus on that if someone's on my left and I know they're coming from the left, I'm gonna keep centered. Oh, look, someone's coming on my right. I'm gonna watch this corner. Somebody's at the bottom of the stairs. There it is. Coming up the stairs. There he is. He's coming through my right. Watch the middle. There he is. Just always center, always center. And this is just practice. This is just practice. See how I move around the map? Just centering. I'm going to look left, centering. I'm going to run up these stairs here. Center on the stairs. There he is. Keep centering in case he peeks me again. Guy coming up right here. I'm going to turn this corner and center. There it is. Another guy coming to the left. I'm going to turn this corner and center. There he is. Stairs, center. Just always center, always center, always center. Everywhere you look, always center. Down the stairs, to the left. That's it. You're just always centering your aim. And just be ready for the gunfight. That's all. Just always be ready for the gunfight. That's it. I'm gonna go up the stairs. I think he's up here. There it is. So just practice. Like I said, mess with the settings. You might have to tweak them a lot more to find something that's comfortable to you, but that's part of the learning process, right? You're not gonna get it the first, second, third, or fourth time. You know, center. I'm looking for this guy. He's right there. And keep messing with the settings. Go into some bot lobbies. Leave them on recruit until you feel comfortable. And you find a setting that works for you. And that's it. First, I'm going to show you just aim assist with the right stick. Actually, with the left stick. If you look at the controller there, notice how my left stick is always engaged. And as I rotate around the enemies, it kind of keeps me centered on them, right? This is what I mean by rotational. You see how I'm kind of just on his body? That's left stick, right? I'm engaging the left stick. That's rotational aim assist. So you can already see how that would be an advantage versus a mouse player. If you're a controller player and you have this mechanism that just says, hey, as long as you engage this left stick, the game is gonna do its best. Remember, nothing's a guarantee here, so I don't want anybody to say like, oh my god, that's aimbot. It's not. The game still has to do its best to keep you on target. You know, you have to factor things like barriers in the game, you know, obstacles and things like that, and you know, smoke and elements like that. So again, the game is going to do its best. This is not aimbot. Before anybody says, oh my god, it's aimbot, you just stuck to them. No, it's not aimbot. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm just going to run around. You see, look at rotation. You see how I kind of stay with him the whole time? Because I have my left stick engaged. So I want to be clear, left stick engagement. Now, that's the thing that a lot of people get wrong when trying to understand aim assist. Another thing you may have heard over time is, my aim assist don't do that. My controller don't do that. Well, I know from experience watching other players and having conversations with other players, a lot of them aren't even using their left stick. They ADS and they start trying to manually track with the right thumbstick only. And then they lose the gunfight and they're like, man, I was drawing circles all over him. You didn't engage your rotational aim assist. You have to engage it. So in a way, yes, you do have to turn it on by engaging the left stick. And then once you engage the left stick, then you kind of get that little magnetic pull on the enemy's hitbox. So in a way, yes, you turn it on, even though it's technically always on in the game, but you do trigger it yourself by using the left stick. And yes, I know a lot of players who they will stand still. And that's usually how you can tell too, is if a player is standing still, aiming at you, and let's say you're jumping or you're strafing, and they're just standing in one spot, hard ADS at you, and they're missing all their shots. Those are the kind of players that will say, my aim assist don't do that. Well, if you're standing still, it's impossible you're engaging your left stick, right? Because your left stick, by default, would make you strafe. If you're going left or right, obviously, or front and back, you'd be moving forward, you'd be moving backwards. If you're not moving, there's no way you can tell me that you've engaged your left stick. You're not. That means your ADS and you're trying to track with just your right stick. And when you're fighting a good player and they're moving around, it's gonna feel impossible to hit that player if you're not engaging rotational. Okay, that's why sometimes you might see a clip from, be it your favorite streamer or the cracked out sweats, and you look at them and you're like, that dude's running aimbot for sure. Look how he tracked that dude. No, he just engaged his rotational aim assist, and the game kind of did the rest. Right, so that goes back to like that 75%, 25% that I talked about earlier. And that's a hypothetical number, so please don't quote this later saying aim assist is 25% of the work. That's a completely hypothetical number. I don't know how much it actually does. All right, so let's continue. So here I'm just showing some examples. Look, if you look at the controller in the lower right, I'm constantly engaging my left stick. When I see a person, right now I'm just messing around, running around. So I'm looking for a person. See right here, rotational. You see how I kind of stay centered on the enemy? Because I'm engaging the left stick. You can even see my player's body turning as I was aiming. That's the aim assist is doing that for me. It's turning my body for me. Like, yes, it sounds wild, but that's why it's called rotational. You're rotating. You see here, I'm not using the left stick. So if I'm only using right stick, I get a little bit of aim slowdown right here. I got a little bit of aim slowdown there when I went left to right, but you didn't see my body turning with them. You didn't see my body turning with them. And let me go back a little to show you that again. You see right here. So as I go left and right and sweep, the game's a natural aim assist bubble slows me down on the character, but my player is not doing the rotation because I'm not using rotational aim assist. You see? So this is what I meant earlier when I say people who stand still in gunfights and then they say, "Oh, my aim assist don't do that." Because you're not engaging your left stick. You're completely trying to track with the right, and right stick aim assist is not as powerful as rotational. The bot here is running right at me. But what if this was a person slide canceling, bunny hopping, strafing? You can understand why it would be very difficult for me to track that person if I'm not engaging my left stick, right? If I'm just trying to track them with a thumbstick. So this is, again, to circle back why I said I'm never going to compare thumbsticks to somebody controlling a mouse. It's just not the same thing. So there are valid reasons why controllers need aim assist, okay? So let's continue. But once again, I'm just looking for one of these little bots just to show you guys rotational versus non-rotational. See right here, I didn't use non-rotational, right? I just used my right stick. And see, look, they're hiding behind a column there. So I didn't get any slowdown. But when I moved over, see how it slows down right there? Right there? Right there? That's the game's natural aim assist. That's just the right stick though. But again, that's a player that's standing still. So that might, if they're not moving, sure, that might be an easy kill. But what if they're moving? What do, right? You want to engage rotational if they're moving. So let's see here. Same thing. See, now I'm doing rotational. You see how my character is kind of turning with him? That's rotational aim assist right there. Rotational aim assist does exactly what the name says. Rotates. It keeps you in a bubble. It feels more magnetic. It feels stickier. All right. Same thing here. See, you see how my player's kind of turning on like a arc, like a parabolic arc. That's what I mean. If you are not engaging the left stick for rotational aim assist, your gunfights are gonna feel incredibly more difficult, especially against the good players. And not even just the good players. Any player that's even moving. If the player's moving, not north and south at you like in a straight line, if they're moving side to side, if they're jumping, if they're slide canceling, those gunfights are going to feel impossible if you're not engaging rotational. Because sure, you could probably track them. Really good players will probably be able to track them. But even the really good players are going to tell you, why would I make myself do more work when the game already has a mechanism that's going to make the gunfight easier for me? Which, that's rotational aim assist. It's a mechanism built into the game to make the experience easier or better for you as a controller player. So use it. You'd be crazy not to, you know? And there's no pride here, because, disclaimer, you're gonna find some Reddit post or some YouTube comment. There's always the one guy who's like, I don't even play with aim assist. I turn my aim assist off because it makes it worse for me. But those guys are full of shit. Okay, I don't know any controller player that chooses to play with aim assist off. All right, there's gonna be people who will tell you that they do. I'm calling BS on that. I don't know anyone who, outside of taking like a challenge or taking a bet or just trying to see how good they can do in one game. No one's waking up every day to play Call of Duty for whatever many hours, and then just saying, oh, you know what? I never play with aim assist just because. Like that's not a thing. Everyone wants bragging rights, but it's bullshit. Let's be honest. It's bullshit. No one on controller is just turning off aim assist forever. That's not a thing. All right. So let's continue here. I went off on my little tangent there. So same thing here again. Look, I'm not using rotational. You see how I'm just kind of squiggly all over the place? That's the difference. If your aim assist doesn't do that, it's because you're literally not engaging rotational aim assist. Okay, there's no such thing as my aim assist doesn't do that. And another thing I want to quickly say, because I've heard this too. Oh well, PC has stronger aim assist. False. It has been debunked. There is a person on Twitter, they're on YouTube as well. They're called Hexsmith. Hexsmith has done damn near every scenario based example you can think of with aim assist on console, on PlayStation, on Xbox, on PC. He has done every example you can think of with different controllers, with different FOVs at different distances. There is no such thing as PC has stronger aim assist. So before anybody says it, before anybody tries to tell you, that is not a thing. It has never been a thing. It has been debunked 100,000 times. Okay? There's no such thing as PC has stronger aim assist. And there's no such thing as, well, this controller has stronger aim assist or this controller. No, that's not a thing. Okay? Let's continue. So let's see, looking for an enemy here. So look, even at this distance, look, you see how my gun just kind of goes over the place if I'm not engaging my left stick? See, at this point, it's up to me to aim there because I don't have rotational. And sure, you can do it. I'm not saying you can't do that. Of course you can. You just have to work on your recoil control and understand the recoil of the weapon you're using. You can get that shot. You stand still, you get that shot. But I just purposely did that as an example with barely any control, so you can see just how bad it is. All right, let me see if I can show you that again. So no rotational, your gun just kind of goes all over the place, right? But this is why it's important to make it a habit to, every time you're in a gunfight, you see right there, you see how I just kind of moved with him? It almost looked like I was glued to him. I'm gonna show that to you again. Look at the left stick. Look at my left stick. I engaged my left stick and I looked almost glued to that person, right? This is where the oh my god, that's aimbot. Look how he stuck to me. No, that's rotational aim assist. I'm engaging my left stick in that fight. And the game is keeping me in that character bubble, right? Same thing here. Same thing here. It looks like I'm stuck to the chest right there. That's just rotational aim assist. That's just rotational aim assist. That's all it is. Same thing here. See how my character does like a little sway? Rotational aim assist. Left stick. Engage your left stick. Yeah, so I hope you've seen enough examples so far of how aim assist works, the advantages that it gives you, and specifically how to maximize the use of it. The left stick on the controller is so important, so important. And it's the one thing that a lot of beginner players don't understand. And sometimes even seasoned players, you'll find people who tell you, yeah, I've been playing COD forever. And, my aim assist don't do that. That means for a long time, you haven't understood how rotational aim assist works. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I said, I disclaimed at the very beginning, I'm not a pro player by any stretch of the imagination, right? I currently only have like a 192 KD in Resurgence, right? Um, but at one point I was like a 0.65 KD player. Like I was terrible at the game. Like literally terrible. 0.65. That's literally negative. I died more than I won gunfights. Um, but just putting in time, understanding the mechanics of the game and practicing, I just got better. I didn't do it overnight. You might be able to, you know, if you understand the mechanics and understand how the game works, you might turn it around overnight. I didn't, you know, but not saying you couldn't. Of course you could, but you know, that's why I wanted to start this tutorial with just understanding rotational aim assist, because that's the biggest thing with controller, right? Is how do these players look like they basically have aimbot? And so that's why all the accusations always come out. Oh, he must have a Cronus. It's a DS4 Windows. It's engine owning. It's whatever, right? There's a million and one responses to like why somebody's cheating and why they couldn't possibly just aim that good, because you know I can't aim that well. There's no way they could aim that well. Well, that's a matter of perspective, right? Because that's like saying I know how to play basketball, I'm as good as an NBA player. Like you see how crazy that sounds? Like there's levels to this, right? There's players who play 12 hours a day and they've been playing 12 hours a day every day for the last 5 years, you know, in the modern COD, let's call it. And there's players like me who play maybe 3 hours a day, a few days a week. So I'm never gonna compare myself to the level of like a competitive Warzone player, right? These guys and women, they play hours and hours and hours of Call of Duty every single day, right? Their muscle memory, their their training is just better. It's just better because they have more time into it. So when you hear somebody say, "Well, you know, my aim doesn't do that. I don't shoot like that." Well, who are you comparing yourself to, right? Like you got to be realistic. Who are you comparing yourself to? If you're comparing yourself to the best of the best, yeah, no, you're probably not gonna aim like them. You're probably not gonna shoot like them. You're probably not gonna have the awareness like them. That's why a lot of times too, when we're like, you know, how did he know to peek that? How did he know to pre-aim that? Well, somebody who plays, let's say this is a multiplayer map, Invasion, right? If you play against someone who plays nothing but multiplayer and they play Invasion 10 times a day or 20 times a day, 7 days a week over the course of 8 months, versus you play Invasion, let's say once a week for 8 months, who's gonna know this map better? Who's gonna know all the peak spots? Who's gonna know, you know, all the road, you know, most of the, I guess the lanes that most people are gonna travel through? It's gonna be the guy who plays, you know, 20 times a day, right? Versus the person who plays it once a day for 8 months. So the same thing happens if you're trying to compare yourself against what we call the sweats, the people who just play nothing but Call of Duty for a living. You're gonna have a hard time trying to keep up with those players. You know, those are like the NBA players. You know, to use a sport, whatever, you can use any professional sport, it doesn't matter. But those are like the pros who made it to the big leagues because they practiced since they were 5 years old, 8 hours a day, from the time they were 5 to the time they were 21 and got drafted. Versus you and I, who are just the casual Joe who goes plays a pickup game at the YMCA once every Saturday or every other Saturday. We're not gonna go pro. We know how to play the game. We understand the fundamentals of the game, but we got to stop comparing ourselves to those people. We are not those people. We're the casuals, all right? So we're gonna play at a casual level, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a good player at your casual level. You could be a very good casual player. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So I hope this guide helps. So this is just part one. We're just gonna start with the aim assist. So the next part of this guide is gonna be the centering. So I'm sure you have heard about that as well. Centering. They're always telling me to center, but what do you mean centering? Centering. Well, in the next part of this guide, we're gonna focus on centering and what it means and how you combine the aim assist and the rotational aim assist with centering so you could win more gunfights and be prepared for more gunfights. Because in a game like Call of Duty, when people just unexpectedly come around a corner or jump out a window or come through a door. Centering and knowing how to maximize your rotational aim assist, those are going to be the differences in winning those 50-50 fights, especially the unexpected ones. So for now, go over this, understand rotational aim assist, grab a controller, go into a custom lobby, put 2 or 3 bots on recruit level. It's not about the kills. It's just about get a feel for aim assist, get a feel for right stick aim assist when you're just not moving, and get a feel for rotational aim assist so you can see the difference and you can start to understand, like, oh, that's how these people, it looks like they never miss. That's how these people can track me so well. Just get a feel for it, and we'll move on to the centering guide, which is going to take, like I said, it's going to take the aim assist tutorial, and we're going to build on it with the centering guide. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Even if you disagree with me, again, that's fine. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's help each other. That's all I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to help the casual player. All right. I'm not a pro. I'm not guaranteeing you that I'm gonna make you a pro. I'm not giving you any guarantees, as a matter of fact, but I just want to create a beginner's guide to controller, the mechanics of the game, how to maximize everything, and just how to become better with time. All right. Please remember that. Become better with time. The time and practice you put into this is what's going to determine how good you become. All right.